Hello, Mzansi. Welcome to it as Game On, brought to you by Hollywoodbets, gets underway, and we've got plenty to talk about in the way of the Hollywoodbets Super League, which just got underway. We'll also be touching on an exciting weekend in as far as the DStv Premiership is concerned, including the Soweto Derby that's just around the corner from this show. But before we get to all of that, we'll focus on what's happening out in England and Germany, and to break all of that down for us, to have, of course, the pleasure of being alongside Shane McGregor. Now, Shane, before we get into it, of course, the South African football fraternity has been shocked by the sad news of the untimely passing of Siphiwe Mkhoza, a man you worked with at Rio Stars. Sad news indeed for the South African footballing fraternity, from a player to a pundit, and a man who contributed a lot to South African football, yeah?
Yeah, very sad news, you know. I saw the news and I went cold, you know. It's not good. A gentleman, a real gentleman. Wasn't the most outspoken, wasn't very loud, but he led by example. He was my captain at Rio Stars. I saw him straight away that he had potential, and he's gone. Went on to be a pundit, and very good at that as well, you know. He's going to be sorely missed, gone too soon.
Yeah, so our thoughts and prayers definitely with the Mkhoza family as we keep things moving along now and move over to what's been happening out in England. And my oh my, is the race getting interesting there. Arsenal scoring goals by the half dozens, it would seem now, per game. 6-0 against Sheffield United. Motoring on, yeah?
Yeah, 6-0, you know, could have been 10, but at the end of the day, you know, they are scoring. They're a scoring machine at the moment, just seem to be getting the results. Everything going for them.
So many different goal scorers for them
but
as well.
But that's what's good. That's what's good. Different goal scorers. They're not relying on one goal scorer.
Yeah.
It's brilliant that they're sharing it around. As I say, could have been a lot more, but on a streak at the moment.
Certainly are. Now, it's interesting that the other teams in the race here are doing their bit in winning matches and going on winning runs. So the top three race is certainly exciting. City, it looked as though they were up against it when United went one up, but City, they come back and they score goals.
Come back and score goals, you know, and we saw Haaland as human, missed a very easy chance
he is
in
human
this game.
This season, yeah?
But, you know, the difference is between a good and a great player is he bounced back, created, got a goal. That just shows the character of the man, you know. So, but yeah, they were too good for Man United at the end. You know, Man United did scare them, but too good for them at the end. And I was very surprised with Liverpool getting the victory over Nottingham Forest.
So many injuries.
So many injuries, injury worries going into this game.
Yeah.
Just ground it out. And this is what you need to do at this stage of the season. Just as long as you get that victory, you get the win. Doesn't matter how you do it. It can be ugly football, can be whatever you want to call it, as long as you get the results.
Have to ask you though, about Luton, Burnley and Sheffield right at the bottom. Well, for Burnley and Sheffield United on 13 points, Luton's on 20, so a bit of a gap there. But still, do you see any of those sides getting out of the trouble they seem to be in?
Out of those, the only one that's got a small chance, I feel, is Luton. You know, they have improved. I said beginning of the year that they were going to be the team gone and Burnley would stay. Unfortunately, I got that wrong. Yeah. But it's Sheffield. You look at them, they're minus 50 goal difference. They've got no chance. They're gone. The history, so goodbye. And I think Burnley as well. You know, they stuck to the guns the way they played, but unfortunately, they haven't been good enough. Luton might have a chance, but I can't see it. I think those three are the relegation boys.
Exciting times out in England. Last week we had the Manchester Derby. This week we're looking forward to Liverpool up against Manchester City, right at the top, and there's very little separating them. It's a huge game here in as far as the league race.
Well, massive game. You know, 1 point separating them at the moment. Going into this game, if Liverpool win, they go 4 points clear of Man City. Very vital. You know, vice versa. If Man City win 2 points clear, a difficult game to call. When you look at these two sides, they always give it their all. It's going to be a difficult game. I feel so much to play for Liverpool. It depends on their squad and who they come out and the players they bring in. If they can bring back some of the injured players, it'll be a decent game. They'll be happy with the draw, I think, Liverpool. But City are going to be hard to beat.
Have to ask you about one of the most entertaining sides since the turn of the year in Europe, and that's Arsenal. With the number of goals they're scoring, the type of football they're playing, they really are a joy to watch. They're at home to Brentford. Do you see that winning run continuing? Do you see that scoring run continuing?
Most definitely. I can't see anything else but an Arsenal victory. You know, I think it's just going to be a matter of how many. But you never know with Arsenal. They get their days where they're not scoring goals, but the way they're going at the moment, I think it's about how many they're going to get against Brentford too.
Well, all those years of patience with Arteta seem to be paying off. Now, let's switch focus here. Xabi Alonso out in Germany is having such a huge impact with Bayer Leverkusen, something quite similar to what we saw during the Klopp days out in Germany some years ago. But this, by some stretch, is beyond the imagination. Now unbeaten, all in one season.
Well, if you remember what I said right in the beginning of the season, they're going to be the team that's going to take on Bayern, and it's been proved right. You know, he's the most wanted man in Europe at the moment, and for good reason. I mean, he is one of the best coaches around, young coach. The difference is he a great coach?
Wow.
I'm looking at this. Things haven't gone bad for him yet. When things go bad, is he going to be able to bounce back from that? Is he going to be able to change things to make his team go back onto the winning streak? I think he's good enough to do that. He's wanted by Liverpool, he's wanted by Bayern, he's wanted by a good few clubs. So, he has turned it around for Leverkusen, him alone. And I don't care what anyone else says. Yeah, it takes the players. He brought the way of playing into Leverkusen, turned them around, and he's made a team now that are well clear of the Bundesliga. We would say that at the beginning of the season, except for myself here. I said follow them until they get beaten.
I think you were the only one at the beginning of the season.
I know. I said follow them until they get beaten. So, the first thing I do when I take my bets is Leverkusen go in, and I'll look around for the rest of the teams.
Now, I have to, ask you this question. He's a Liverpool legend. Klopp, of course, has made his announcement most recently about his future at Liverpool. We know he's stepping away soon. Is Alonso the right man for this job? Has he proved himself?
I think he would be the right man for the job, for the simple reason he comes from Liverpool. He played for them. He knows the whole setup at Liverpool. I think he would be, because of the style of the way he plays. It's very similar to Klopp. I would give him a chance and give him a long-term contract there.
Well, many Liverpool fans will have their fingers crossed. There's one Liverpool fan right here who certainly will have his fingers crossed that that's how it pans out in the future. But exciting times with, history looking like it's being made by Leverkusen out in Germany. Exciting times out in England with the league race looking like it may very well go down to the wire. Thank you so much to Shane. And on the other side of this, we discuss all things DStv Premiership with none other than the Legs of Thunder. Cheers, Kosan.
Check these guys. Let's show them how it's done. I see it. Let's have a
your feet like this.
Let's see how you play.
Your feet like this.
Welcome back as Game On continues, and we now bring our focus straight to the local game here in the DStv Premiership, and I'm joined by the legendary Jerry Skosana. Plaket, so many players, well, not so many players, but we've seen it over time, like yourself, where players have great careers, long-lasting careers, and after that, they still contribute to the game in the way of, being pundits and speaking of the game in front of the TV screens and so on. Dr. Nandi did the same. Great career in the DStv Premiership or in the local league, PSL, and also gave so much here on SABC One to the viewer at home in giving insight to the game. A sad loss indeed. Kulinda Besitole this week.
Inhliziyo lami ngibhlungu kakhulu, to be honest. You know, I think okubhlungu kakhulu ama-viewers we-SABC One, because baluze umuntu ebekakwazi ukuhlaziya kahle ibhola ngelanguage yabo kube mnandi ukuhlekwe. You know, you would sit and listen to him and understand i-footballer the way bekabeya ngakhona. I think for me now, condolences to his family, and may his soul rest in peace, because he just gone too soon for me.
Way too soon, and a huge loss for South African football and the South African footballing fraternity. Now, let's talk Ebola that's been happening during the course of the week. The big news, of course, Chiefs scoring their first goal, coming up with their first win of this year. How important was Leo result for Kaizer Chiefs, especially Macabanga ukuthi siyazi namhlanje later on?
Yeah, I think it's something that a lot of Chiefs followers bazoyibheka kakhulu ukuthi hey nangu mfana lobuya lapha ku MDC ku reserve league, you know, uyafika lapha sekazoshaya enye ikhela, and he's confident, you know, uwandile Tuba.
Yebo.
So I think for namhlanje, in the next hour maybe or so, and siyobe sikhuluma ngabafana abawu-2 noMufukeng naye
Yebo.
mawuthi uyabheka kule midweek game
Yeah.
for iPirates. He's the one that scored also a beautiful curler, you know, for iPirates when they thrown a Cape Town Spurs. So I think these 2 boys, from where they come from, it's a good omen in terms of football here to go to know. The MTC, ngathi phethe abafana right for contribute
development yabo,
yeah,
ne?
because you also check in the Sundowns.
Yeah.
There are a lot of players from the MTC. So I think the reserve league is enomehluko omkhulu in terms of ama team amakhulu asizobona labafana abancane bavela. So let's hope kule derby yanamhlanje they will still have the same confidence ebebenayo midweek.
Now, you said 2 things. Young players, scoring goals.
Yeah.
And idabi vele abantu kaningi mabekhala bakhala ngama-goals. Can we look forward to goals this afternoon? Can we look forward to excitement?
Yabona manje ukhuluma nomuntu right.
Angibona vele uphilisha ama-goals.
Injalo manje mangihlezi lana bebuka but now amagoli ahleli lapha sewagugile. Kodwa I still have the belief ukuthi if these boys ngingazi indaba yama supporters, because uma ubuka both games there were not a lot of supporters in terms of filling the stadium. So idabi le namhlanje kuzobe nje istadium sigcwele. So I don't know i-concentration level yabo in terms of taking the pressure from the sound of the supporters izoba right now. But I believe and wish ukuthi kube abafana laba esibabukile midweek bekora sike sisho man. Sike lento yakudala lema kudlala idabi kuthiwa Legs of Thunder versus Spider Baloyi. Sike sisho man City Tuba versus Mofukeng.
Sure.
That will give spice kule derby. So let's hope labafana laba the way benza ngakhona ku midweek bazaqhubeka namhlanje sithole excitement.
Now, another side that scored goals midweek, well, 1 goal, the Swallows in their first goal in the Premier League in 2024. I say that because Benama problems in closing last year. Swallows my problems are behind the scenes. But Alana is Kukuni.
Yeah, I think most of the young boys that have been signed by Swallow they are starting to cope with the pace of the PSL because Uma Ubuga, there is no disappointment. I mean, Babe net draw the Chiefs and they drew with Amazulu away from home.
Yep.
I think he's Kukuni na so finally sees big ngoba le Swallows ngathi manje is an confidence. And because it's a big club. We don't want to lose Swallows. I really don't want to lose Swallows. You know, Swallows was the biggest club. My history of Matabis. Because it Chiefs, the Pirates, these are after Swallows. So we really need Swallows with the Ihlali corner so that the Paula Libemnand.
One of the oldest clubs in South African football, of course, is Swallows. Nabovets, we lost them. They were one of the oldest clubs as well. We're happy that Yamazulu is still there. They've been there for the longest time. They're up against SuperSport United. Now, in SuperSport United, I find them to be a very interesting case. Some would say maybe they're punching above their weight in how well they're doing with a maybe young and inexperienced squad. Not so many stars in the squad for Kevin, but he's doing well with him.
Look, I started to in terms of the MTC.
Yeah, contributor.
Contributor food. Yeah. That's a reserve that I'm so happy about. That I always follow to look at these youngsters that are promising because there is a lot of them that are coming to the PSL fold and they are doing so well. And SuperSport has got, I think, 2 of them that are doing so well and doing wonders. You know. So I think for me now, it's something good to see, to have people in terms of players esikhuluma ngabo singakhulumi ngeclub nje kuphela but we need to have players esizoba identify ukuthi lo uyozokwenza ama supporters as a stadium. So into enhle leyo because labafana laba they are doing well.
I have to say this. Early December, I think at the start of December, you pointed out a problem where morning it's going to become a bigger problem. And it like kind of a weak golden arrows. They've had big problems now. Losing streak and he came in one by winningless the game against Swallows, which didn't happen. But they're up against Polokwane City. Problems for my political pressure.
Whereas I think mangimbukile lapha njoba beluza man. I-comment yakhe ukuthi i-management behind yena. I don't look at that as something that will motivate a coach or the technical team. The technical team needs to motivate players. Uma ubuka isquad se Golden Arrows, they've got quality.
Yeah.
they've got quality. Omutitswa laba, Osbia, these are the players that have been there, they are experienced and stuff. But there was a time where I saw Omutitswa missing a golden opportunity, and he didn't even have the remorse club. Even though when he was substituted, he just went outside, and it's just normal to these people. And for me, these are the players that needs to have the core of the players that are getting promoted from the MDC that are coming to the fold. But if results, perform right, it's a problem for some of the boys that are getting promoted to I'm a first team up.
Certain problems there. So we're going to do something a bit different this time around. We've ended our DSTV Premiership chat. We've ended our chat with Shane, of course, with regards to football abroad. But at the start of the next segment, we will have both of them back as a former Pirates scoring machine and a former Chiefs scoring machine to, well, give us their thoughts on what's happening later this afternoon. Welcome back to Game On, a legendary moment in Game On with all the talk this week being about what's happening in just over an hour from now, the Soweto Derby. I've got a man here who's scored a brace in a derby. That, of course, is Shane McGregor. Another man who scored a hat-trick in a derby, the Soweto Derby, that is. In fact, the last player to score a hat-trick in the Soweto Derby, that is Jerry Skosana. Now, legend sitting alongside me. Big game to look forward to, gents. Let's unwind. Let's talk about what you guys are expecting in the game today, including your predictions as well. Start with you, Shane.
Oh, what I expect?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what team the coaches put out, Will Kevin Johnson have the guts to put the youngster out in the derby? It'll be his first derby. And also Pirates, what team will they put out? The coach seems to tinker with the team, change it. I wish I could say I expect exciting games with lots of goals, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be very tight, and I think the game will be won by an odd goal.
Care to tell us who will win it?
People are going to hate me for this, but I do think that it'll end 0-0, but if there is a winner, it's going to come via the black and white team.
Wow.
Sure.
It's very sure. Very sure.
Okay.
You've heard what Shane has to say. Both these teams, maybe midweek, but they did get goals. Are you looking forward to an exciting game? Maybe more goals than what Shane sees?
No, to be honest, I think I'll concur with Shane in terms of the vibe and maybe the performance that these two teams will bring. I don't think it will make it more exciting. If you compare the midweek games, both teams, the way they played, they didn't give what people are expecting in a derby. So I think there might be a change, when they go to the field today. But if you look at the people that are seated here, you spoke about the 2 goals scored in the derby, the 3 goals scored in the derby. This is Pindamzala. The derby gave him that nickname because spectators wanted him to repeat what he was doing, to score goals. And people will come and say, the thunder will come roaring. And I would go there because it was a motivation where I got the Legs of Thunder nickname. So every derby, when you follow the players, you'd come and say, Shane Pindamzala, Paul and Trompis Ntlanya, the late Tabang Chilis, now like Cherry Legs of Thunder Skosana, Hellman Midnight Express, Mphelo. We no longer have that. That's what made the derby to be so exciting. 16-12, that was the one. But now I'm just talking about Wandile Tuba, who did well in the midweek, scoring a beautiful goal for Chiefs, the first goal that comes from the MTC for the first team. And also for Pirates, Mufukeng, also the youngster that come from the development of Orlando Pirates. So these are the guys that I think maybe, let's give the nickname so that I'm a fans, man. I'm a fans, I'm a right, a kutal.
For once, I hope these two gentlemen are wrong. These teams throw caution to the wind, entertain, score goals, and we have one of those legendary type derbies. Let's hope for that in just over an hour and an hour's time, right here on SABC1. Well, that's it from Jerry as well as Shane. We now Well, switch focus and talk all things Hollywoodbets Super League, which just got started. Well, game on motors along now as we move and shift focus from the Soweto Derby straight to the Hollywoodbets Super League. And to speak to us about all things Hollywoodbets Super League is the SAFA Media Liaison Officer. We have the absolute pleasure of introducing Namhla Mphelo to the show. Namhla, thank you so much for your time. Let's talk about the Hollywoodbets Super League. And firstly, since you represent SAFA, let's talk about its contribution to Banyana Banyana on the international stage and how it's helping improve things there.
Good afternoon, Siziwe, and thank you for having me on the show. We're very excited that the 2024 season of the Hollywoodbets has kicked off. We're going into our second week. Week one was absolutely stunning, 27 goals scored in 8 matches. We've got 2 newly promoted teams that have really stamped their mark. And of course, Sundowns, who have always been trying to lead the pack, have obviously already made their intentions clear coming into this season.
So things are going well. From the Super League, we've got Sundowns, of course, who are African champions, not for the first time, for the second time. You must be proud of what the ladies are doing and where South Africa stands, Jay, from benefiting from the Hollywoodbets Super League.
No, definitely. Hollywoodbets Super League has done incredible work for South African women's football over the past 3-4 years. We've got so many players that are coming from our lower league, fighting to get places, starting lineups in the 16 teams in the Hollywoodbets Super League. And it's great that Sundowns has really dominated Africa, but we really need all the teams to rise, so that we can give South Africans a better Banyana than what they presented at the Women's World Cup now in Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, and also we're seeing with tournaments like the COSAFA Cup, other ladies coming in from other teams, not just Sundowns, and representing the nation rather well as well, which bodes well for all the other leagues or all the other teams in the league and how they are competing with Sundowns, not only to try and win the league, but also try and get into the national team as well.
And also not just in South Africa.
Yeah.
We speak of Sundowns and a player of the year last year, Mphelo is a Lesotho international. She's also come into South Africa to play in a better league, to give back to Lesotho. Yeah. But definitely, we need more teams to compete against Sundowns. I mean, last year, the University of the Western Cape really challenged Mamelodi Sundowns ladies. TS Galaxy also brought in a very great fight. It's beautiful to see that players are moving around. A lot of different signings happening around the country. A lot of players coming from our junior national teams signing professional contracts with Hollywoodbets Super League teams. And I mean, it's giving Coach Desiree Ellis a headache, but a beautiful one, definitely a great headache to have, to see that she has players for the next generation. I mean, you look at a Janine van Wyk, who has officially retired. I'm sure there's a lot of centre-backs now who are raising their hand to say, I can fill that position. We're looking at players, your Bongega Gamedes, your Lona Mhlongos, and they've become senior players for Banyana now. Yeah. But it's great that she has such a beautiful headache to be able to have such a great pool of players to choose.
I know throughout your career you spent many trips abroad with national teams, the junior national teams and such. The big trip that's now possibly coming up is the Olympic Games, should we get through Nigeria. How are you feeling about that? What's the feeling with regards to Banyana and getting back to the Olympic dream?
I'm sure they're very anxious, missing out on Japan was a shock, it was a shock for them, but it was also an eye-opener to see that other teams are also improving. Yeah. Botswana knocked us out, and I think no one saw that coming. So, I mean, what better encouragement than playing Nigeria? These two have been enemies for years, and it's always them or us, so it is going to be a very, very big 2 matches, home and away. And we're hoping to come out as the ones with the ticket to the Olympics.
Well, Mphelo, thank you so much for your time, and fingers crossed that Banyana can, of course, do the business in qualifying for the Olympic Games. The Hollywoodbets Super League has started, and my oh my, congratulations to the new teams in the league, of course, in a great start to the new season. We hope they continue to keep us on the edge of our seats. Thanks to Namhla, thanks to you at home, thanks to Jerry, as well as Shane, as well we sign out in the only way we know how to here on Game On. That's click, click, bang.